Good day and thank you for joining us on BeeTv News Updates at 12. I am Lee Brittman Johanna. Now the news in details. A U.S. federal judge has stepped in to stop the Trump administration from carrying out thousands of layoffs during the ongoing government shutdown, following a lawsuit by major labor unions who argue the move was unlawful and politically motivated. The report.
A U.S. judge has temporarily blocked the Trump administration from laying off about 4,000 federal workers during the ongoing government shutdown. Judge Susan Houston wrote in favor of two unions saying the administration was unlawfully using the funding lab to downsize government agency. She cited statement by President Trump and Budget Chief Russell Vance that suggested political motive behind the cuts. The layoffs were planned across more than 30 agencies, with the Treasury and Health Department facing the largest reductions. Other departments include Education and Homeland Security were also affected. Union leaders hailed the decision as a major relief for federal workers already struggling without pay. The Justice Department argued the case should go to a labor board, but the judge issued a restraining order while the lawsuit proceeds. The Trump administration plans to appeal the ruling. The shutdown is now in its third week, with Congress still deadlocked over funding. Favor Kolawole reporting for BeeTv News.
Crowds have gathered in Nairobi to mourn the death of former Kenyan Prime Minister Raila Odinga, who passed away at the age of 80. Odinga, a prominent opposition leader and longtime figure in Kenyan politics, died while receiving medical treatment at a hospital in India. News of his death has sparked an outpouring of grief across the country, with mourners gathering in the capital to pay tribute. Flags were flown at half-mast as supporters, political leaders and citizens remembered his decades of service, his fight for democracy, and his role in shaping modern Kenya. President William Ruto is expected to deliver an official statement while preparations are underway for Odinga's body to be flown back to Kenya for burial. A single misstep in July triggered a deadly explosion that severed a soldier's ankle and ignited a 5-day border clash between Thailand and Cambodia, a grim reminder of the enduring danger posed by landmines. The report.
On July 16, set off a deadly chain of events along the contested border between Thailand and Cambodia. Thai Army Second Lieutenant Barami Shrai and his patrol were navigating a disputed area when one of his soldiers triggered a hidden landmine. The blast tore through the soldier's leg, leaving him severely injured, but the consequences didn't stop there. What followed was a 5-day border skirmish between the two nations, marked by rising tensions and escalating accusations. The violence was only halted by a U.S. brokered ceasefire. At the heart of the crisis, the use of landmines, specifically the PMN2, a Soviet-era anti-personnel device banned under international treaty agreements both countries have signed. Thailand has leveled serious allegations against Cambodia, claiming the mines were newly laid, a direct violation of international law. Officials in Bangkok say the July 16 explosion was just one of several incidents. According to the Thai military, at least 6 soldiers have been wounded by PMN2 mines since July, including a member of Barami Shrai's patrol team. To bolster their case, Thailand has released photos and videos from demining operations carried out after the July 16th and July 23rd blasts. They insist the evidence clearly links the mines to recent activity and to Cambodian forces. Cambodia, however, flatly denies these claims. In statement from Phnom Penh, officials argue that the mines in question are remnants from the country's long and brutal civil war, a war that left Cambodia one of the most heavily mined nations on earth. They maintain that Thai soldiers accidentally triggered decades-old ordnance, not newly planted devices. Cambodia also points to its international track record. Over the past 30 years, it has spent more than $1 billion on demining operations with support from global partners. The government says it remains committed to the global ban on anti-personnel mines and calls Thailand's accusation politically motivated. Still, the explosive nature of these charges has sparked a diplomatic firestorm, raising serious concerns about treaty violation, historic accountability, and the fragile peace that continues to define the border region. Evelyn Isibile reported.
French Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu is expected to withstand 2 no-confidence votes in Parliament on Thursday, following his offer to suspend President Emmanuel Macron's flagship pension reform in a bid to gain support from left-wing lawmakers. Lecornu, already the shortest-serving prime minister in modern French history, before being reappointed last week, risked an even previous second term until he made the key concession on pension reform earlier this week. The Socialist Party, holding the balance of power in Thursday's no-confidence vote, has welcomed Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu's decision to suspend President Macron's controversial pension reform. As a result, the Socialists announced they would not back either of the two no-confidence motions, one brought by far-left, the other by far-right National Rally. Despite Lecornu's pledge to shelve the reform until after the 2027 presidential election, the outcome of the vote remains uncertain. A narrow margin separates survivor from defeat. 265 lawmakers have declared their intent to oust him, just 24 short of the 289 needed. Potential defections from the socialist rank on conservative Republicans could still tip the balance. In a speech to Parliament on Wednesday, Lecornu said he would introduce an amendment in November to the Social Security Financing Bill to formally suspend the reform. But this move could deal a major blow to Macron's economic legacy, as the pension overhaul was one of his signature domestic policies, with France's public finance under serious strain. Shelving the reform leaves the president with few lasting achievements after 8 years in power. The crisis unfolds amidst the country's most severe political gridlock in decades, with minority governments struggling to pass deficit-cutting budgets through a deeply divided parliament. Meanwhile, the Socialists have signaled their next political objective, introducing a billionaire tax in the 2026 budget discussions now underway in the legislature. Trump has given the CIA the green light to carry out covert operations in Venezuela, increasing pressure on President Nicolas Maduro's regime. This move suggests a shift towards more aggressive U.S. tactics in dealing with the Venezuela government. By involving the CIA, the U.S. may be aiming to undermine Maduro's power or influence politically change from within, rather than relying solely on public diplomacy or sanctions, the report.
U.S. President Donald Trump confirmed on Wednesday that he authorized the Central Intelligence Agency to conduct covert operations in Venezuela.
I authorized for two reasons, really.
Trump told reporters his reasons why migration of Venezuelans to the U.S. and drug trafficking. Trump has in recent months ordered a large U.S. military buildup in the southern Caribbean. Troops have conducted at least 5 strikes on vessels Trump administration has described involved in drug trafficking without providing evidence. The CIA authorization marks a sharp escalation in U.S. efforts to pressure President Nicolas Maduro's government. The classified directive citing U.S. officials familiar with the decision. The report said that the Trump administration's Venezuela strategy aims to remove Maduro from power. Trump declined to answer when asked if the CIA has the authority to execute Maduro.
Oh, I don't want to answer a question like that. That's a ridiculous question for me to be given. Not really a ridiculous question, but wouldn't it be a ridiculous question for me to answer? But I think Venezuela's feeling heat.
Venezuela's government said Trump's remarks constituted a violation of international law and said U.S. actions were aimed at legitimizing a quote regime change operation with the goal of seizing the country's oil resources. Venezuela's foreign minister said his country would raise a complaint with the UN Security Council and Secretary General. Faith Ojo reporting for BeeTv News.
Chinese state media on Thursday released a 7-point response rejecting U.S. demands to ease its rare earth export restrictions as both countries continue to exchange accusations and struggle to ease mounting tensions. On Wednesday, U.S. Trade Representative Jason Gere criticized China's new controls, calling them a global supply chain power grab. He suggested that Beijing could avoid the risks of President Donald Trump in reintroducing steep tariffs on Chinese goods by withdrawing the restrictions, which are scheduled to take effect on November 8. Beijing claimed it informed Washington ahead of announcing its new licensing rules and insists the measures align with long-lasting practices in other major economies. Tension between the U.S. and China have escalated since a September phone call between former President Trump and Chinese leader Xi Jinping, with both sides arguing each other of inflaming the situation ahead of a planned meeting between the two leaders. China links the heightened rhetoric to U.S. Commerce Department unexpected decision in late September to expand its entity list, targeting Chinese and foreign firms accused of using subsidiaries to circumvent export controls on chip making equipment and other advanced technologies. Ocean's Gate Titan submersible imploded during its June 2023 expedition to the Titanic wreck due to poor engineering and multiple testing failures, according to an official report. The tragic incident resulted in the death of all 5 passengers on board, including Ocean's Gate CEO. The report.
The U.S. National Transportation Safety Board concluded that the engineering process behind Ocean's Gate Titan submersible was inadequate, leading to structural faults that caused it to fail strength and durability standard. The NTSB also found that due to insufficient testing, Ocean Gate was unaware of the vessel's true strength and the damage it sustained, which should have grounded the submersible before its final dive. Titan disappeared in the North Atlantic while attempting to reach the Titanic wreck located at 372 miles from St. John, Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada. Earlier in August, the U.S. Coast Guard released a harsh report on the implosion, describing the tragedy as preventable and condemning Ocean Gate's critically flawed safety practices. The NTSB investigation also revealed a problematic safety culture within Ocean Gate. While some employees insisted safety was prioritized, others, including a former marine operations director and a technician, described an environment where safety concerns, especially regarding designs, were often ignored. Evelyn Isabella reporting for BeeTv News.
Oil prices increases by about 1% on Thursday after U.S. President Donald Trump stated that India Prime Minister Narendra Modi has committed to stopping India's purchases of Russian oil, a decision that could tighten supplies in other markets. By 6:55, Brent crude futures had climbed 56 cents or 0.9%, reaching $62.47 per barrel. U.S. West Texas Intermediate also saw gains. Oil prices rose by 1% today, following comments from former U.S. President Donald Trump, who claimed that India has pledged to halt its purchases of Russian oil. The statement comes amid ongoing geopolitical tensions and efforts by the West to curb Russia's energy revenues. Markets react quickly, with traders anticipating tighter global supplies if India follows through.
Relationship. He just said that 2 days ago, as you know. We have a great relationship. No, we were not happy with him buying oil from Russia because that lets Russia continue on with this ridiculous war where they've lost 1.5 million people, by the way. Russia's lost 1.5 million people, soldiers mostly. This is a war that should have never started, but it's a war that Russia should have won in the first week, and they're going into the 4th year. And I want to see it stop. So I was not happy that India was buying oil. And he assured me today that they will not be buying oil from Russia. That's a big stop. Now I got to get China to do the same thing. You know, that is relatively easy compared to what we just did over the last week in the Middle East. Middle East was 3,000 years, and we got it done. This is 3 years. And I think we'll get it done. I think that President Putin, I think he wants to get it done. We'll see. There's a great animosity between him and Zelensky. You probably have noticed, right? And I think it's hurting the process, yeah. Again, it doesn't make him look good. It's a war that he should have won in 1 week, and he's now going into his 4th year. That does not make this big so-called war machine look good. But he could make a settlement. We're willing to settle. I thought we had a deal. The hatred of the two leaders is it's an obstacle. It's an obstacle. There's no question about it. But I thought we had a deal 2 months ago. Who would think I created peace in the Middle East and can't get the two guys to settle? But I think we'll get them. But if India doesn't buy oil, it makes it much easier. And they're not going to buy. They assured me they will. Within a short period of time, they will not be buying oil from Russia. And they'll go back to Russia after the war's over.
The Federal High Court in Abuja has ordered the remand of 4 suspects allegedly connected to the murder of Aderemi Abbas, chairman of Irewole local government area in Osun State. At the Kuje Correctional Facility, Justice Joyce Abdulmalik issued the order following the arraignment of the suspects, who all pleaded not guilty to the charges against them. The defendants, Abubakar Kabiru, Tajuddin Opeyemi, Akim Agbomajo, and Akintoye Olayemi, have pleaded not guilty to the charges bordering on terrorism, illegal possession of firearms, and the murder of Remi Abbas. Following their plea, Justice Joy Abdulmalik ordered that they be remanded at the Kuje Correctional Facility pending the conclusion of the trial. The case has been adjourned to December 4, 2025 for the commencement of trial. Remi Abbas, chairman of Irewole local government area in Osun State, was reportedly killed on February 17, 2025 during an attempt to enforce a Court of Appeal judgment that reinstated APC's led local government executives. Federal Capital Territory Minister Nyesom Wike has criticized his political opponents over the recent defections of several governments from the People's Democratic Party (PDP) to the All Progressive Congress (APC. He stated that these developments have fully validated his political positions and alignments with the ruling party. Mr. Wike, a member of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), currently serving in the All Progressive Congress (APC)-led administration of the President Bola Tinubu, made the remarks during the flag-off ceremony for the construction of the main carryways on the Outer Southern Expressway in Abuja. The minister recalled how several party stalwarts, including both current and former PDP governors, had previously criticized him, accusing him of destabilizing the PDP and covertly supporting the APC.
Happy, but very soon I will speak to Nigerians. I've been watching on daily televisions and social media people who said, I want to destabilize the party. I'm working for APC. All of them now are in APC. So, which means if it is true, they should commend me for working for where they are heading to.
And now to business news. The Naira depreciated for the third consecutive day, closing at 1,473 Naira.29 on Wednesday at the official Nigeria foreign exchange market. According to the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) data, the currency opened the week at 1,457.51 Naira, dropped to 1,463.23 on Tuesday, and lost an additional 10.06 or 0.69% on Wednesday. Let's join BeeTv News' Faith Ojo for more details from Business World.
Despite the weakening of the Naira, Nigeria's external reserves recorded a steady increase, reaching $42.63 billion on Monday, up from $42.59 billion recorded the previous Friday. During the IMF World Bank annual meetings in Washington, CBN Governor Olayemi Kadoso stated that ongoing reforms have made the Naira more competitive. He highlighted the role of domestic production and economic restructuring in supporting currency stability. The Nigerian Communications Commission NCC has announced that recent tariff reforms in the telecom sector have resulted in over 1 trillion naira in new infrastructure investment by operators. This was disclosed during the 94th edition of the Telecoms Consumer Parliament held in Lagos. The reforms approved in February 2025 were designed to make tariffs more cost-reflective and enhance long-term service stability. The NCC stated that the reforms have improved market stability, competitiveness, and investor confidence. The Commission noted ongoing challenges such as cyber fraud, vandalism, and restricted site access, which have affected service quality. A presidential order signed in June 2024 classified telecom infrastructure as critical national assets, mandating enhanced protection. The NCC is collaborating with the Office of the National Security Advisor to implement the directive. United Bank for Africa (UBA) is set to unveil a white paper titled Banking on Africa's Future, unlocking capital and partnerships for sustainable growth during the World Bank IMF annual meetings in Washington, D.C. The white paper provides a strategic framework for leveraging domestic and global capital to drive Africa's development. It covers key pillars such as trade, infrastructure, digital innovation, climate finance, and inclusive growth under the African Continental Free Trade Area. UBA, which operates in 20 African countries and several global financial centers, aims to convert strategic dialogue in actionable investment through this initiative. The document outlines UBA's commitment to advancing financial inclusion and mobilizing capital for sustainable economic transformation across the continent. Seplat Energy has outlined plans to increase oil and gas production following its acquisition of Mobile Producing Nigeria Unlimited Access. The company said the portfolio contains significant reserves as it's strategically positioned close to export infrastructure. Seplat has begun reactivating wells and investing in facility reliability to deliver quick output increases. The integration of offshore expertise from the acquired entity has reportedly improved operational performance and cash flow. The company's asset diversification, stable production, and governance practices have supported its position as the only dual-listed Nigerian oil and gas company on both the Nigerian Exchange and the London Stock Exchange. Faith Ojo, reporting for BeeTv News.
And lastly, on entertainment news, Anita Natasha Akide, popularly known as Tasha, received special recognition from Ibom Air for our ongoing Guinness World Record attempt. The acknowledgement took place mid-flight as the airline's pilot publicly announced her presence and congratulated our efforts. Also, rapper The Game claims he is not a billionaire by choice. Let's join BeeTv News Evelyn Izibili for details and more from Entertainment World.
Tasha, a reality TV star and influencer, recently undertook a Guinness World Record challenge, completing 145 makeovers in 24 hours. The influence recognition marked a significant milestone in her career and was later shared on her Instagram account. The gesture has drawn positive reactions across social media, with fans and celebrities commending the airline's support and celebrating Tasha's growing achievements. Social media critic Very Dark Man has pledged to challenge the inflated prices of gadgets in Nigeria following his visits to China. In a video shared online, he claimed that many Nigerian gadget dealers exploit consumers by significantly marking up prices on items imported from China. He alleged that products such as power banks and chargers are sold at prices multiple times higher than their original cost. He also challenged the widespread notion that goods made in China are inferior, arguing that many devices marketed as UK used in Nigeria are actually sourced from China. Very Dark Man stated that upon his return, he intends to make affordable gadgets more accessible to Nigerians by exposing price discrepancies and advocating for transparent sourcing practices. Adult film actor King Nasser has drawn attention after publicly naming Nigerian singer Tems as his celebrity crush. During an interview with Nigerian content creator Egungun of Lagos, the actor shared personal details about his career and preferences. Nasser, 28, disclosed that he has worked with over 500 women in his career and earns up to $75,000 monthly from adult film productions. He also spoke about his role in collaborations and his general approach to work in the adult industry. The revelation has sparked discussions online, particularly due to the mention of Tems, a globally recognized Nigerian music artist and two-time Grammy Award winner. American rapper The Game has stated that he has not become a billionaire because he chooses not to pursue that status. In a recent interview, he asserted that wealth accumulation depends on mindsets, focus and efforts, and that he could achieve billionaire status if he decided to pursue it. The statement triggered widespread debates on social media, with users expressing mixed reactions. While some interpreted the comment as motivational, others view it as unrealistic or self-aggrandizing. The discussion has reignited broader conversations about ambition, self-discipline, and financial aspiration within celebrity culture, highlighting the polarizing nature of the Game's public persona. Evelyn Izibili reporting for BeeTv News.
And that will be all on our bulletin. Thank you for joining us. Do stay tuned for more updates at 3. I am Lee Brickman Joanna. Bye for now.